Hello and welcome to this new episode of Inspire Africa with me, Lauriane Vofokana. Our overview of Africa's inspiring and innovative initiatives will first lead us to Cameroon, where a fashion designer teaches for free young internally displaced persons. Then we'll head to Senegal. Thanks to mobile cinemas, an association enables Senegalese wherever they are to access the seventh art. And later on the show, we'll meet with Molly Jansen, who heads a company based in Kenya. She aims to amplify the voices of African podcasters, those content creators. She's also on a mission, and a good one at that, to build Africa's largest audio library. Cameroon's two Anglophone regions are grappling with the political and humanitarian crisis. That did not deter self-taught seamstress Daisy Mbante from starting a business and launching fashion design workshops.
Every morning, with a paintbrush in her hand, Daisy Mbete draws and paints patterns or faces that will adorn blouses, shirts and dresses. The fashion designer lives and works in the Cameroonian city of Boa. While the town has been marked as a ghost town since the outbreak of a social and political crisis in 2016, Daisy, the dressmaker, has not given up.
I started sewing dresses and I said, okay, to make my design unique and different from what other people are doing, I want to add some spices on it. So I started doing painting. From there now, people started liking them, and to tell you the honest truth, it's really going well.
Daisy's home in the capital of the Southwest region also serves as a workshop. There, she provides free training for women in their 20s who are internally displaced.
Her strength, her creativity, her passion, and she's a fighter. Yeah, so that motivates me to follow her.
Without the means to open her own shop, Daisy currently showcases her creation in a friend's store. She's one of the few dressmakers in the region using textile painting and drawing.
I am dragged to her designs because I'm more fan of stories. I like the hidden things about designs, and I'm up for culture.
The businesswoman has also made a name for herself in other cities in the country through social media. Her creations are often shipped to England and the United States. Her talent has opened doors to national events. She now focuses her growing business to support more young people.
For over a decade now, a Senegalese association has been successfully organizing screenings of films for unprivileged audiences.
It's a first for most of the residents here at Guédiawaye, a neighborhood located in the suburbs of Senegal's capital. The association's Cinéma Numérique Ambulant enables them to discover the movie theater experience. Even though the country has several cinemas, many regions are left out.
There are cinemas in Dakar, but there are 14 regions in Senegal. You see that demand is huge. In some regions there are no movie theaters, and we also have to go there, create this bound and enable people to discover cinema.
With her team, Kumbasa crisscrosses the countryside and Senegal's disadvantaged neighborhoods. Two films are showing at Guédiawaye tonight. Beni Giskis, about girls' empowerment, and État Civil, which raises awareness about declaring the birth of one's child.
It brings back memories of the days we used to go to the cinema. We couldn't wait to watch a film and use it to raise awareness. Whenever we got together as a family, we'd talk about the films we'd seen. The Cinéma Numérique Ambulant brings the feeling back to life.
Before that, it would only be 2 or 3 of us, women meeting, and we would end up talking about something else. Now the cinema brings us something new. It speaks to us with images, and this is more captivating.
The association has since 2021 belonged to the Cinéma Numérique Ambulant Afrique network, which only screens African productions. The secret to its success also lies on organizing roundtables on social issues and involving local associations.
All that is done for me, but without me, cannot be. The sense of community is non-negotiable to us. You saw children during the screening run to take the microphone. It was the first time they had used one, their first speech in public, if I may say so. This is the atmosphere we create here at the Cinéma Numérique Ambulant. It's a community work.
The association has produced over 250 screenings since its creation and looks forward to bringing African movies to more Senegalese.
Africa's oral tradition is centuries old. The contribution of storytellers from the continent was therefore essential to the podcast universe, according to our guest Molly Jansen. She is the CEO of AfriPods, a podcast hosting and monetizing platform. Audio programs hosted there gather a worldwide listenership. Welcome. Walk us through your journey at AfriPods.
Thank you so much for having me, Lorian, and I'm so excited to chat with you. I stepped into AfriPods about 2.5 years ago to basically build out the vision of what we would need from a podcast hosting platform on the continent targeting African creators. Since I've stepped in, we've been able to expand into 8 different countries with boots on the ground. And I think a lot of it has been talking to creators. We didn't just go into it thinking, oh, we know exactly what people need. We sat down with people who are already creating, asked them what they wanted, asked them what they were missing, asked them what they needed, and ultimately went on a plan to try to build that to make sense.
How many podcasts are available on your platform?
We have over 1,000 podcasts hosted on AfriPods. This year alone, we've had over 1 million streams, and we're still in the year. We have millions of streams from a lifetime perspective. We have content from over 50 countries right now. Not just African, but primarily African countries. We have the ability to categorize in over 70 languages, including vernacular language, local language, etc. You know, there are organizations that do a really good job of building out libraries. I think there are some that are focused on Black content. I think there are some that are focused on African content. Right now, to my knowledge, ours is the largest. So I'm really excited to say that our platform is growing exponentially. There's definitely more space to capture, but we do have brand credibility with podcasters on the continent and in the diaspora.
African net surfers pay some of the world's highest prices for the mobile web, and we haven't taken into account its performance. Why did you choose this market?
There are challenges globally. I'm not going to diminish bandwidth, storage, data, cost of living, but at the same time, Africa is a very unique continent. My mother was born and raised in Ghana. I was born in New York. I returned to the continent and started living in Kenya 4.5 years ago. And I've been really privileged to be able to travel throughout the continent. And I'm looking forward to doing more to learn about more people. When we talk about why I decided to work in an industry like this, there's such a strong and robust audio culture. There's such an important digital landscape. Digital transformation is important here. People have smartphones. They say it's the fastest digital growing continent in the world. And I think that there's an opportunity there. And if you're not going to be caring about the African creator, who is, the creative economy is going to be massive here. You give people the opportunity to make money off of following their dreams and being themselves.
Who is the AfriPods user?
I would say across the board, 18 to 34 is pretty significant for podcasting, for those who are creating and those who are listening, but they depend on the topic, whether it's news, comedy, investigative journalism, interview, etc., etc.
When does AfriPods step in for the content creator?
We step in with the creator at the beginning when they're starting their podcast to create an RSS. We step in with the creator when they look to migrate their podcast from whichever host they were previously on and move to AfriPods, or we step in if they're looking to just add their content as part of their library available via RSS.
How do you work on a continent with over 1 billion potential users?
When I first did customer profiles, I was like, who is our African user? You have the global African. And people were like, what does that mean? And I was like, it's not the African that's been to Europe or the United States. It's the African that's been to 10 or 15 African countries. That is also a possibility. Then you have the African person who went to school. Then you have the African person who may be in a lower socioeconomic class who grew up in a slum. Then you have the person who might be the matatu driver, or what do they call it? Trotro, like minibus driver. As someone who was born in the diaspora, I feel very privileged to be here. And that's also why I look to amplify and put creators on a platform who are from here.
It was a pleasure having you.
Well, thank you for having me again.
That's it on this episode. You can watch it again on Africanews.com. I'm leaving you with a clip from Fakaha. The town in northern Côte d'Ivoire is renowned for its cotton canvases decorated with patterns and designs. Craftsmen use only natural dyes. This ancestral technique is now promoted by local clothing brands such as Quignon. Bye for now.